Good morning, Terry. You know what day it is?
It's hump day.
Hump, hump. You know what else today is, Terry?
No, what is it?
Today is the day. Well, it's one of those days where all the twos come together, Terry.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the second day of February in the year 2022. So two, 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 two.
Yeah, we should look at for hunch plays on twos.
I should have just put twos right down in the first column on the left-hand side.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been the smart thing to do today. Well, maybe on the 22nd, that'll be the smart thing to do because that'll be two, 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 5 twos. It'll be like a poker hand with a wild card.
Yep, absolutely.
Almost unbeatable. 5 of a kind. So yesterday, Terry Parks, I kind of was a mixed bag. I was happy in some respects about the way things turned out and unhappy in some respects about the ways things turned out. I was happy about the fact that I was able to read the card correctly and figure out what races I might be able to make my money in. And that I knew that there was a lot of mush in that. I was unhappy with the fact that unfortunately we were unable to catch some of those big prices in the back half of that card.
Oh yeah, there were some really big prices. That last big four paid over $90,000.
Ooh, we need one of those, Terry.
That's right.
Maybe we can do it on the day all the twos come together, Terry.
Maybe, you never know.
Yes, that might be the key to all of that. So today we're going to go off to Gulfstream Park. And yesterday I mentioned it was one of those days where I felt like there was a lot of mush in the card. And today I don't feel like there's as much mush. So hopefully we can find something that'll work out well for us there. But before we get cracking today, normally we put this towards the end of the show. But if you're playing parks today, and I know a lot of people are interested in parks, if you head on over to Gulfstream Park. Guaranteed tip sheet today. Parks is the free track of the day. The track is fast, and you can see the races right there. I think the first race is up in about, looks like about 20 minutes, Terry. So if you're doing parks, make sure you head on over to Guaranteed tip sheet. Get the free parks picks for the days. We had a pretty good day there yesterday.
That's right.
As far as you and I are concerned, Terry, we're heading down to I-95 to South Florida. We're going to do a Gulfstream Park, Terry, as we always do on Hump Day. Hopefully we can have a great day down in Florida. Unlike, I should have put this on. I was going to email this to myself so I could show everybody, but let's take, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, Terry, but let me open up my phone real quick. This is what Chicago looks like today.
My house. It looks very snowy and cold.
Yes, it is indeed. Spent the morning, that's the front of my house this morning with all the snow that's outside. I think we got like 6-7 inches last night, and we're supposed to get another 6 inches before it's done snowing today. Like a half an hour. We're getting like a half an inch of snow an hour or something. It's, I don't know, 19 degrees. I just love that sort of weather. You all right with us, Terry?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. So let's take a look at race number 1 at Gulfstream. It is a 5.5 furlong race, Terry, on the dirt track, claiming 12,500. If you look at 5.5 furlongs on the dirt track so far, Terry, 2022, 14 races, 12 won by speed, so an absolute speed bias there. 7 horses of the 14, so 50% if you're keeping along and doing the math, because we know that our horse racing show is all about math. Post positions 4 through 7 seem to be the best place to be. 2 and 3 have outperformed the 1, and so far no number past the 8 and past has won. We're both starting with the 5. Reserve no detained.
Reserve not obtained.
Reserve not attained. Yes, mine's underlined in the red line, making it more difficult. Why do you like reserve not attained?
Well, this horse has won 2 races in a row at Gulfstream Park, leading all the way, and now shortens up. He has the highest last speed rating, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. The trainer wins 28% of the time the first race after a claim, and the jockey in the last 7 days has a record of 23 starts and 16 rides in the money, 6 of those wins. Yeah, I like number 3, Lustano, ran second versus similar in the last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. Then number 4, Strategic Vision, finished in the money in the last 4 races, finishing second in the last race, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, Paco Lopez. and we know how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then number one, allegedly perfect. The trainer wins 33% of the time, first race after a claim, and this horse's early running styles will help his chances.
Yeah, and that first race is scheduled to go off at about 25 minutes, 12:30 Eastern time. So we've got a little bit of time for that.
Yep.
I agree with you. We have the 5 and the 3 as our first two picks. I do agree with you with the one on the back end there. I agree with you on reserve not attained. Does have the top early pace, late pace combination in the field. Won its last 2 races pretty easily, Terry. So going for the Terry hat trick. Had better fractions last time out, despite going a little bit longer, that half furlong. So I like when I see better fractions in a stretch out. That's usually a pretty good sign that the horse is in good shape. As far as Gulfstream Park is concerned, Terry, I don't know if 13 is an unlucky number for you, but it isn't for reserve not attained, because he's finishing the money 13 out of 13 at Gulfstream. And last time out, Terry did run a speed figure above par for this crew. Number 3, Lusitano is the tie for the top pedigree in the field, Terry. It's ran second to the top pick in the last race. I expect the horse should improve second off the bench. I'm not sure that it'll get enough to get by the 5 horse, but there is a maintenance work in between, and you get an upgrade to jockey Luis Saez, who's just been tearing it up down in Miami. And he rode the horse 2 times before, once with a win and once with a 4th by about like 5 lengths. So it was not such a good race. Here's where you and I differ. I have number 7, Hard Bell. I'm usually not a fan of that track upgrade, Terry. This one's coming, I think, from Penn National. Mm-hmm. But a Penn National shipper nailed me on the Pegasus day, so maybe the Penn National to Gulfstream Park isn't as bad as I think. It has a good workout since its last start. And switching from Gulfstream Park, it did run Gulfstream Park last time on all weather to dirt, and it's the only horse taking a purse drop in the field from 34,000 to 28. And then finally, number 1, allegedly perfect, Terry, 34% off the claim for trainer Carlos David, but they say you can never trust a person with 2 first names. It does have the fastest quarter-mile fractions that any horse in this field has been able to produce, and it is the other horse to tie for the top pedigree. Race number 2, Terry, starts the first pick 4. You and I are a little bit different in our pick 4s today because we flip-flopped on who did prime rib and who did the hot dog pick 4. But we'll get to them at the end of the race here because we have a little bit of time. Race number 2, Terry, scheduled to go off at about 1 o'clock Eastern time, 12:59. But is one of the complaints at Gulfstream Park is that they can't seem to hit their post times, right?
Yeah, they don't.
No, they don't. It's maiden claiming $12,500 with a purse of $2,100, Terry. They're running 7 furlongs this time on the dirt, Terry. And 7 furlongs, they've had 24 races. Again, the dirt track has a speed bias. 18 of them won by speed. 7 of the 24 went wire to wire, Terry, so a little less than a third. And there is a rail and 8+ bias, so kind of what I would call a barbell bias on the outside and on the inside. And the 2 and the 3 outperform the 4 through 7, Terry. Again, we have some of our 3 picks are the same, just a little bit different order.
Yeah, they are. Well, I start out with Fearless Girl, number 1. I like her because she's finished 3rd versus similar in her last race and earned the highest last race speed rating. And the rail post, as you said, is winning at a 19% clip. Then I like number 6, Caladad. Likes being the bridesmaid, and that's the only reason that it became my second pick and not my first. Is she's finished second 4 times in the last 5 races, drops in class today, and the trainer wins 24% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back to the race. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 4, Magna Colors, drops in class today, and number 5, Advanced Technology, chance to improve.
Technologue.
I
thought they missed the Y too when I was doing it last night. I'm like, what, did they forget to put the Y in?
Yeah, it threw me off right there.
Yeah, it would throw me off. It took me like 15 minutes to figure out last night that it was not technology. I was like, where's the Y? And then I actually went to the program, and then I saw, oh, man, it's not in there. So, all right, fine.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this horse has a chance to improve while trying dirt. She drops in class today, and the trainer wins 50% of the time when going from all-weather track to a dirt track.
So I want to say thank you, Liam Tuamfook and Jimmy Little. I hope I got that right, Lionel, on the last name. If not, forgive me. We appreciate the thumbs up on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, hit us up with the thumbs up. Follow us as we had at the beginning in there. How's it going today, Jared? I do have your 3-horse in race 7. I upgraded him for you today. I had him second like Terry, and I know Terry's going to have Shecky Shabazz second when we get down there, I think, maybe. Oh, no, he upgraded him too. How about that, Terry? Sneaky guy, that Terry. I thought I was going to be the only one. But in any case, I'm familiar with that Shecky Shabazz horse. So we're going to move off to race number 3 now, Terry. Race number 3 is a 5.5 furlong affair on the all-weather track, claiming 8,000 non-winners of 1 in a year. And let's talk a little bit about what the 5.5 furlongs all-weather track looks like. Again, 30 races, Terry. Again, speed seems to be the way. Not long enough, I think, for that surface to really kind of even out the playing field, so to speak. But 21 of the 30 were won by speed, with 8 going wire to wire. And once again, we see that barbell approach. The inside 3 horses and 8 out. You don't want to be 4 through 7. This is your box it up today, Terry. So let me pull up your box it up, which is a $1 exacta box, a 50-cent trifecta box, and a 10-cent superfecta box.
That's correct.
How's it going today, Jimmy? Thanks again for the thumbs up. We appreciate that on Facebook. Tell us how you got these ones laid out, Terry.
All right. I like the number 7 Vel. Finished 3rd versus Tougher in the last race. Has the highest last speed rating. Drops in class today. Best all-weather speed, is fastest among today's starters. And he has Paco Lopez in the irons. I like number 2 Aficionado. Went to France to race. Didn't do too well, but now it's back at Gulfstream Park.
And they're kind of quick turnaround there, too, for that one, Terry.
What's that?
I said kind of a quick turnaround for Aficionado, too.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, like from France and back in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was really kind of odd. You don't see that very often. So
they went over there and they don't like the food, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, he's coming back to run at Gulfstream Park. That's where he had his last, or she had her last win. And then jockey Irad Ortiz is in the irons. And in the last 7 days, he's won 6 out of 23 races. Then I like number 1, Noble Intentions. Ran a disappointing 6th in her last race, but she was bumped and steadied early. The rail position is winning at 18% clip. She's dropping in class today, and her trainer jockey combination in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 4 races. Then I like my 3, My Masterpiece. Finished 3rd versus Tougher in the last race and has a pretty darn good workout on December 10th.
So Jared has a question for you, Terry, and me as well. I answer it as well as when you're done, but I'm clicking buttons. So Jared wants to know, how many hours did you handicap this card? Just curious. So how long did it take you, Terry?
About 3 hours.
And it took me probably about the same. A little bit. I'd say, yeah, about 3 hours is about right, because I run through the numbers first, just to give you a little kind of how I do things. I can't speak for how Terry does his stuff, but what I do is I have some stuff that I've learned over the years, and I've kind of coming from a model building background in the financial markets, and I found some data points that work for me, and then I go through the tracks, and then I try to adjust them a little bit. So I rank them first in Excel, and then after I rank them in Excel, I take them and I look at each horse individually then, and I have a couple of other sheets too that I look at early pace numbers based upon some studies I've read, and late pace numbers. Then I look at some of these alpha angles that I've talked about, any angle that wins at more than 12%. And then I go, once I've got all that like mosaic in my mind, then I go look at the cards and I start to move the horses around a little bit based upon some of the things that you get from experience, intuition. So it's a whole process for me, Terry.
It is me too. I use an Excel spreadsheet similar to you. And one of the things, the last step that I do at the end is I look at the race on how I think it's going to run and finish up. Who's going to be the leaders, who's going to come from behind, who's going to be close to the pace, that sort of thing. So
he likes the 3 to win in race 2, 8 to 1, Kill Argues Girl, F8 to 1, and that's in race number 2. Neither one of us have the 3 in race number 2, so we ought to think about maybe adding the 3. I'm going to change my last pick to the 3, Terry. Where did I think I might have had the 3 in there too as my race number 2. It's actually was my next pick. So you just did race number 3, right, Terry?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So did I ever talk about my picks in race number 2? I don't think I did I?
You didn't in 3.
I haven't done it in 3. I don't think I did it in 2 either. So I'll go real
You may
quick.
not have. You might want to talk about 2.
Yeah, I numbered race number 2. Caladad was my top pick. Third off a layoff, was the beaten favorite. Antonio Sano rebounds at 25%. It's a Denzel Washington horse. Spends a lot of time around the winner's circle. Doesn't get in. I do like number 1, Fearless Girl. Another Denzel horse that tries to get into the winner's circle, but hasn't gotten a haircut yet. It's a horse that's turning around. Last ran on January the 23rd. And when he did run, had some of the fastest quarter-mile fractions in the field, producing the top last race speed figure. And I expect, based upon its resume, to see some improvement second round off the bench. Number 4, Magna Colors getting the weight break, fastest quarter-mile fractions in the field, taking the biggest drop. What the hell? I got the 2 horse. You know what I'm going to do, Terry? I'm going to take Jared's advice and change it on the fly, baby. How about that? I'm going to make it the 3 horse.
All right. Sounds good to me.
And how about that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Is actually one of my alternate horses. If I get it,
it was my very next pick. So, race number 3, Terry, I have Aficionado as my first pick. As you mentioned, it's coming back from France on January 24th. So that's coming around pretty quick too. Sometimes those international travelers need some come around, but I didn't really find this to be one of the better fields in the card today. So I felt like just class-wise, it was the best horse in the field. Vale is my second choice. Did have the top last race speed figure, minor drop. And according to its resume, should be at least as good as it was, maybe it's slightly better in its first start off a layoff. Number 4, Alizé, as another third off a layoff horse. If you look at the last 2 times the horse had a 3-race cycle, its best race was that third race. So that traditional third race off a layoff actually applies to Alizé. Has the top pedigree. And then I closed it out with number 6, Lawn Dart, Terry. Speed does win here, and it has the top early pace numbers by a decent margin. The Lawn Dart does. Drop off a claim, because the horse was claimed last time out. Gerald Brooks, the trainer, is now dropping him off the claim. And we talked about how with these purse sizes, they're really not drops. But he's won 3 out of 7 like that. And if you look at the horse's last workout on January the 2nd, it was really strong. And I was kind of contemplating the 5 horse here. Hello, Dollface. So that was a 50-50 between me on the 6 and the 5. I went with the 5 just because of the top early pace figures at a place and course where speed has worked. Sound like I just had a earthquake at my house.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, probably not. The 6 takes a big drop, suspicious. Yeah, but it's really not as suspicious as you think when you look at what they're running for per size. So it looks suspicious on paper, and I think that is a product of, I don't want to say old-fashioned, but when I was younger and we'd handicap and you had those big drops off the claim, it would be suspicious because you're running for 10,000. Now you're running for 5,000 and the purse was 5,000. You're going to be claimed for 5,000. So you were cutting in half, but now you might claim it for 10, turn around and drop it, but run for a purse of 19. And if you win and get claimed, it turns out to be profitable. So I don't think it is. I don't think that is as dangerous as it was previously, Terry. Race number 4, the 5 horse is your best bet, Terry. Why?
Well, let me tell you why. I like that horse because it, the name of the horse is Al Kahira, I guess. And,
Al Kahira. We'll go with Al Kahira.
Yeah. Well, some of these names are really odd. Anyway, she ran second
to the person who named it, right? I mean, what if it's named after the person's mother, Terry? Now they're going to be mad at you.
Probably. Anyway, she ran second versus similar in her last race, and the trainer jockey combination the last 14 days has won 2 out of 8 races, and they added Lasix this time. And number 8, Queen Matcha, finished third versus similar on an all-weather track on her last race, and Lasix has added this race. The trainer combination the last 7 days have been in the money 16 out of 23 times and won 6 of those races. Then number 1 is State, finished third versus similar in the last race at 7.5 furlongs, and now stretches out to 1.16 miles, which I think can help. She has the highest last speed rating, last race speed rating, and the trainer wins 18% of the time when using Lasix for the second time. Her best dirt turf speed is fastest among today's starters. Then number 6, Point Pleasant. The trainer is winning at a 26% clip, and the jockey is Tyler Glaffione.
Indeed. So this race, Terry, is a mile and a 16th on the turf. It's a maiden special weight, $60,000 race. In this case, the purse and the conditions match because the purse is $60,000. A mile and a 16th, Terry. They've not run that many races. Well, actually, they have 50 of them. 32 of them, Terry, were won by speed horses. So again, you have a pretty good speed bias. 14 of the 50, so 28%. Again, doing the quick math there. Were won going wire to wire. And there's a very small inside to outside bias, Terry. I'm with you. I like the 5-horse Alcahira. Is a half a length. 2 seconds. Both of them, I think, are half a length behind the winner. So it's almost undefeated, but it is getting first-time Lasix. Been well bet in both times. I'm a fan of that first-time Lasix with speed angle. It's worked out pretty well for me. I just noticed we have the horses in the same order here. Number 8, Queen Maka. Top early pace, late pace combination in the field. Raced pretty well on an all-weather and turf, so it should be pretty good with first-time Lasix. Gets IRAD, so that's, I think, an upgrade as well. Number 1, Estate does have the top last race speed figure on turf and their first race on turf. Bullet work sense, so I'd like to see that too. Has the top pedigree, and last time out, I think the only horse in the field that ran a last race speed figure above par for this group. And the next 2 horses, again, was a 50-50 flip for me, and I was able to work that in my pick 4 later on. But Point Pleasant or number 3, Cumulonimbus, whatever. So the 6-horse Point Pleasant. So I went with Point Pleasant because it looks like the best of the first-time starters for me. It's tough to tell what you're going to get out of those horses, but it does have some strong works getting ready. A total of 21 furlongs of workouts since December 27th. So I do expect the 6-horse Point Pleasant to be fit, ready to run, and that jockey-trainer combination of Tyler Gaffalione, as you mentioned, Tyler, and Christophe Clement, they've won 5 of 12 races together, Terry. And I don't know, did you get a chance last night, Terry, to watch the Horse Center show with Kim Cantrell, who actually works for Christophe Clement?
Yeah, I did. It was very interesting. I learned quite a bit, so it was good.
Yeah, if you've kind of wondered, about what happens in the prep to a race, after a race, and all that kind of like the behind the scenes stuff, she gives us a pretty good look at what her day-to-day tasks are like cold walking and hot walking, and how often a horse gets a bath. And I did not know there was a such thing as a horse chiropractor, Terry. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did know that. I've read that before. So,
yeah. So I'm on point. Number 2 is a top pick for me in the 3rd race. All right, I hope that works out that way. And then, if I'm on point, Terry, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So race number 5, Terry, closes out the early pick 4. I have the 1 horse here as my best bet in race number 5, which is hold on, let me just click on a button here. It is a 5.5 furlong. I love my best bets in these races, Terry. Claiming 6,200, 6,250, non-winners of 3 lifetime. 5.5 furlongs back on the dirt, Terry. So 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. 14 races, 12 won by speed, 7 of the 14 wire to wire. And the post positions, you really can't read that much into 14 races, but so far the 2 and the 3 have outperformed the 1, and so far the 4 and the 7 have outperformed the 2 and the 3. So a little bit of an outside inside bias, except no horse with the 8 has won yet. Number 1 is my best bet here, Terry, because I'm looking for a little bit of a price. What Capturini down 2 classes, Terry, in today. Trainer Jose D'Angelo has won 8 of 20 races like that. And if you look at the fractions last time out, they were better than they were the race before, Terry. And if you also kind of rewind a little bit through the past performances, one of the horse's 2 wins came from the rail post. I see you have the horse as your second pick. Why do you have the 7 on top of the 1?
Well, I like the 7 because it won its last race, or she did, at Gulfstream Park. And she has the highest last race speed rating. And the winner wins 33% of the time when he brings a claimer back that's won. Then I like the number 1, Capituni. Won 2 of the last 4 starts at Gulfstream Park. She drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning jockey, Louis Suez says. And then number 4, Future Flay, won last race at Gulfstream Park. Her early running style will really help her chances. And then number 3, Pretzel. Best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. She does like Gulfstream Park, finishing in the money 50% of the time. And she likes the distance. She's been in the money 77% of the time at this distance.
For me, Terry, as I mentioned, Capricorni is my best bet of the day. I think just the most value on the card in terms of the horse that should be at the top. I think the morning line odds are something like 3-1. I wouldn't be surprised if they go if they drop a little bit, because many times, for whatever reason, whatever horse is 4-1 morning line, I pick those lines for whatever reason they drop a lot. So that's the way it goes sometimes. Maybe other people see the same thing I see, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The second horse for me is Freezer Burn, won by 5 in its last race, which is a pretty big win for me. You know, when you have a horse that runs that big of a win, usually it's followed up with another one. It does tie for the top pedigree, and that race was so good that the trainer turned it around right afterwards. It was also so good. It was the one of the few races today that have a entrant that ran a speed figure above par for the group. Trainer Victor Barboza wins a third of his races, so 33%. He claimed repeaters and has the top early pace, late pace combo in the field. So should be a tough call between the 1 and the 7, I think. Number 4, Future Flay, 3 consecutive speed figure increases. Terry, unfortunately, it's an all or nothing horse. I mean, it either wins, so it's run 6 times, 2 wins, nothing else. One that's last was claimed, and then trainer Amador Sanchez, I misspelled that pretty badly, has won 9 of 45 that way. And then number 3, Pretzel, was well bet in its last race, Terry, much improved, 2 furlongs and 4 furlong pace numbers. Its history says it'll be better off the bench in its second start. In the money, it's 7-9 at the distance, has some of the fastest opening fractions last time. And interestingly, Terry, I noticed that one of our guests on the shows in the past, Ashley Mayow, is one of the owners. I can't imagine she owns a lot of horses because she's kind of young.
She is, yeah. I'm surprised at that. So
yeah, so it's interesting to see. I was happy for Ashley, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to support her. That's a great idea, right? All right, Terry, let's talk about let's look up the prime rib. So we have different pick 4s here, Terry. Let me have to pop that out of here real quick. Let me take the comment out of there. All right, Terry. So you started your hot dog in race number 2. So you have the 1, the 6, the 7-2-1, the 5-8, and the 7-1-4. So that's Terry's hot dog pick 4 for $18. I did my prime rib in race number 2. I went deep on the first, not very deep in the first leg. I really feel like that 1 or the 6 horse are going to be tough to beat. And then I went 5 deep in the next 2, Terry, and 4 on the end. I'm really hoping to catch some prices in races 3, 4, and 5. And I feel like we can, because I didn't really feel like there were standout horses in those races, despite the fact that your best bet is the race is 5 in race number 4.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty wide open in most of those races. So.
Mm-hmm. So tonight, Terry, I don't know what you're doing tonight, but if you're around at 8 p.m. Eastern, Terry, we have jockey Diego Herrera, 17-year-old phenom out on the West Coast, probably the next big thing in horse racing.
Yeah, he'd been riding really, really well. Been doing great.
Yeah, and that show starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sean and I will have Diego on. We'll talk about his early success, like, what kind of life plans he has, what it is he did to be ready to race at this level at 17 years old, Terry. And hopefully we'll hear a lot more from Diego going forward. We're going to hear a little bit more about our picks now, Terry, but I got to put these. I need a third screen, Terry. Race number 6, Terry, is a 1 mile and 70 yards. So that mile and change all-weather race, Terry, for claiming $16,000. If you look at a profile of a winner, Terry, they've run 68 races at the mile and 1/8 on an all-weather. 39 were won by stalkers and closers. Only 7 of the 68 managed to go wire to wire. And there is an inside-out bias. So you'll see that the horses, the closer they are to the rail, the better that they perform. Tell us about your top selection here, Terry.
All right, I like number 7, Serenade a Kitten. She drops in class today, and her best all-weather track speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 1, Destinique. Finished third versus similar in her last race, earning the highest last race speed rating. And then the trainer wins 22% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back to the race. Number 4, Current Situation, had a good workout and then ran a disappointing race. And I can't figure out why. Just was disappointing.
Just
So I'm
happens
going to throw that
sometimes.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
have
have.
bad days like we do, Terry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
might
do
be.
Turf Paradise on Mondays when they shouldn't.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, she has a high percentage winning jockey. And then number 3, Midnight Bella, has finished in the money 47% of the time during her career, and she's won 21% of those races. And the distance today won't be an obstacle for her.
So Jared says that race 1, which is coming up in about, they're heading into again, they can't seem to get people into the gates on time there, but the 4 horse is 16-1 right now, 17-1 in rising. He thinks it's a good one to bet on the win and place. For me in race number 7, Terry, I'm looking at, we're race number 6, excuse me. I like Destinique. It's the third off the bench, in the money at Gulfstream Park, 2 races with a win and a third. And I can hear Peter Aiello in my ear. I don't know how the guys on TV do it, man. It kind of really shocked me right there for a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, who is that? I have voices in my head. That might really have that too, Terry. But anyway.
That's true, yeah.
So number 5, Money Factor, bullet work on January the 28th, Terry, after running improved fractions in its last race. I really do like that. When you see a horse run improved fractions and then head back to the track for a practice and put in a bullet workout, that really is an indication that the horse is sharp. It ran some of the fastest opening fractions out of any horse in this field, and it does have the top late pace numbers by a wide margin. It's an 8-year-old, though, but if she can put the front and the back together, they can make this race look easy. Number 4, Current Situation. It's another horse that's making the third start off a layoff, Terry. I expect that, according to its resume, it'll get better. Does have the top pedigree, top early pace numbers in the field, and only needs to rewind 1 race, Terry, to find itself in the winner's circle. And finally, Serenade a Kitten, taking the biggest drop in the field. Terry ran for $61,000 last time, almost cutting it at half to $31,000. It was another one that got out of the gates in a hurry last time. And did you know, Terry, that they've done like psychological studies on cats? And I don't know how they do this, but they say they're neurotic, every one of them, and they all want to eat their owners.
Yeah, I have. I read that. I read that they're the least, they're still really wild. They're the least domesticated animal that people have. So
that's pretty funny, though, that they're neurotic and they want to eat their owners. I mean, how do you know that?
I don't know.
Do they have like some kind of Dr. Doodle there? All right, so let's see. Race number 1, Terry, Peter Aiello was yelling in my ears, and they're off. The 5 horse and the 1 horse are on the lead, Terry, coming into the turn. The 4 horses right now behind the 8 horse. And let's see, the 5 horse, the jockey's looking between his legs. He's pretty confident he's got this one in the bag, I'd say. So it looks to me like right about now it's going to go 5-1, maybe the 6. But the 1 horse may be kind of tiring a little bit.
Yeah, he tried to run with that 5. So
yeah, so the 6 horse looks like it's the one that's coming on at 50-1. Neither one of us have that horse there. Yep, the 6 horse is going to finish second. So 5. Well, maybe the 7 horse is flying up on the rail, but he's going to run into the behind of the 1 horse and be stuck. So it's going to be 5, 6, and then some tight for 3 and 7, Terry. We just needed to get that 6 in there. Well, hopefully we can get race number 2 off to a good start from your hot dog and my prime rib pick 4.
Yep, that's right.
All right. So let's look at race number, what are we on, 7 now, Terry?
7, yeah. Race 7.
Race 7, Terry, is a 5 furlong on the turf race. Optional claiming $62,500 with a purse of $62,000, Terry. At 5 furlongs on the turf, 24 races, Terry, 15 won by speed, 11 of the 24, so a little less than half going wire to wire. The post position underperforms 2 and 3, which outperform 4 through 7, which underperform 8 and out. So 2 and 3 and then an 8 and up. This is the race where Jared really likes the 3 horse, Shecky Shabazz. Terry, you had it as your second pick. Now you made it your first pick. So the 5 pick, Extravagant Kid, was your first pick before. Why did you reverse the order?
Well, I took another look at it and looking at Shecky Shabazz. I like the
I like the
way,
name. I mean, because can there be a
yeah,
cooler name than Shecky Shabazz?
yeah. Well, he likes to lead, but has not quite held on at 5.5 furlongs. And now he cuts back to 5 furlongs and he drops in class. And the trainer wins 25% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back to the race. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. The jockey in the last 7 days has won 6 out of 23 races. Then I like number 5, Extravagant Kid. Ran second versus Tougher in his last race, receiving the highest last race speed rating. He drops in class today, and the trainer wins 17% of the sprints that his horses are entered in. And in the last 14 days, the trainer has had a record of 8 starts, 3 wins, a second and a third. Then I like number 1, Like What I See. And I like what I see. So, won his last race at Gulfstream Park, and the trainer wins 21% of the time when bringing the winner back to race again. And then number 6, Kazem, finished in the money in the last 2 races, winning one of those. The trainer wins 33% of the time, first race after claiming a horse.
So I looked at Shecky Shabazz and Extravagant Kid. I had them ranked pretty evenly. They had a little bit of edge to Extravagant Kid. Gave a little nod to Jared there. But I do like the fact that Shecky Shabazz is coming off the bench for trainer Christophe Clement. Just looking back at its resume, it tends to run better off the bench than it does maybe a little bit more extended into its run. Was the favorite last time. And, also, as I mentioned last night, Kim Cantrell worked for Christophe Clement, and sometimes those things just kind of work together for some mysterious universal reason. I do like Christophe Clement too on turf. I feel like that his horses do better on turf and does have the top early pace numbers where I mentioned speed is the way to go. Extravagant Kid has run really well at Gulfstream Park, finished in the money 9 out of 12 races. Does have one under its belt already, and usually, according to the resume, does better in the second race than it does off the first, and has had 2 strong works in between races. So I do like to see a horse that comes off, runs well off the bench, puts in a couple of good works, and then it's done 3 consecutive speed figure increases. Number 6, Kazim. I like that horse as well, Terry. First off the claim, as I mentioned already, it's a 34% winner for the trainer with 2 first names, Carlos David. Horse at Gulfstream Park has run 6 times, got a couple of wins, 3 seconds. Didn't manage to run third. So on the board 5 out of 6 times at the South Florida track, and does have the fastest quarter mile fractions that any horse in this field has been able to produce. And finally, I like number 8. It's my 4th choice. Harry's on the loose, Terry. It's got some of the fastest fractions last out. Should be near the lead, again, where speed matters. And is a horse that could show improvement in its 3rd race off the bench. Race number 8, Terry, takes me to my box it up. And let me pull that in there. And the reason I did this race, my box it up, Terry, is because you have that last horse for me, Sir Aggravator, right?
Yep.
That's what I do, right? Nice exacta, yeah, with that shot coming, especially with a 3 to 5 on top. But that 7 horse, Sir Aggravator, Terry, after some scratches, that horse moved up in my rankings. And when I looked at that 7 horse, Sir Aggravator, and this is a mile race on the dirt. So 47 races were won by 47 races so far, 37 won by speed, 16 going to wire, and you have an outside to inside bias, right? So the 7 horses on the outside, Sir Aggravator, won last time with some major 2 furlong and 4 furlong improvements. And since that race has 12 furlongs workouts, some pretty good ones in there too. So it should be fit, should be near the lead, Terry. And I think it's a 30-1 morning line. So I'm hoping, I got it ranked 4th. I'm hoping that maybe it can surprise a little bit, finish 2nd or 3rd. Brasstown, my top pick, did run the top last race speed figure. It did beat my 2nd and 3rd pick, Hero Tiger and Trapezoid. I think in that last race, Hero Tiger was the actual favorite. So that is the 2 horse. So I wouldn't be surprised if they reverse orders and the 2 beats the 1 this time. The 5 horse Trapezoid finished 3rd in that race. All 3 of those horses ran a last race speed figure above par. But I don't really see a reason for the 5 to get in front of the 1 or 2, Terry, although that it's your top choice here.
It is.
But I just feel like you have horses that have workouts in there. The Hero Tiger should improve. I have the 5 in the third spot, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the 7 beat it. So why do you like Trapezoid to turn the tables on the 1 and the 2, both of whom had better odds and finished in front of the 5 last time out?
Yeah, well, he finished third versus similar in the last race, and he has the highest speed figure at today's distance. So that's a big reason why. Number one, Brasstown won last race at Gulfstream Park and earned the highest last speed rating. And his dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then Hero Tiger, number 2, ran second versus similar in last race. The trainer wins 23% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back to the race. And number 6, the Mighty Judge. The trainer wins 25% of the time when going from an all-weather surface to a dirt surface.
And that brings us to the final race of the day, Terry. Race number 9, Terry. Race number 9. Usually there's, a friend of ours asked me one time, why is it so hard to win the last race? And that's a pretty good question, Terry. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. This one is 5 furlongs on the turf. Made an optional claiming $50,000. Got a little bit of Gatorade stuck there. Went down the wrong tube. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, me too.
But at 5 furlongs on the turf, Terry, as you might expect, speed is probably the right way to go. 24 races, 15 of them were won by horses that were first, second, or third at the first call. And I think it's the 3/16th marker at 5 furlongs. 11 of them went wire to wire. And again, you have a middle bias, it looks to me like, and an outside bias. The rail has kind of struggled a little bit. But yet I have the one horse as my top pick. But in any case, why do you like them in the order you like them?
Well, first of all, the reason I think the last race is usually the hardest is because the tracks, they schedule it that way. Usually put it like a maiden claiming or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And because I think they like to see the bigger payouts for the exotics and things. Anyway, I like Brit's Candyman, number 3. He finished third versus similar on the dirt in his only start. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and his breeding suggests that he will like the grass, as his dams won 3 winners out of 5 starters, and 2 of those were turf winners. And this horse was well bet in the debut. Then I like number 7, Bohemian Captain. He ran third in his maiden race. He has the highest last race speed rating. He switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and the breeding does suggest to like grass. They added Lasix today. Then number 1, Sunset Provision, finished third versus similar on an all-weather track in his only start. And as we talked before, all-weather track kind of goes over to turf pretty well. He has a bullet workout on January 18th. He was the best out of 9 workouts, 47-1 for 4 furlongs. Then number 9, Strong Again. He may improve while returning to the turf, and the trainer wins 18% of the time when he uses Lasix for the second time. So that's my way of thinking.
Sounds good. How about the prices today at Parks yesterday? Yeah, there were some bombs there, Jordan, yesterday. Wow. Ooh, that's why I said at the beginning of the show, I was kind of happy and unhappy at the same time yesterday, because when you see a bomb show like that, when there's a fireworks show, as a 4th of July in horse racing, you want to be a participant in that, because that's when you have a $90,000 pick 4, right? That's what we all want to hit. But I was happy with the fact that I read the card right, that the early part of the races were more predictable than the back half of the races. So I was glad that I did that part correct. Got one piece correct in the pie.
That's right. You got that first pick 4. So that was pretty cool.
And then, and I could have did it on the hot dog budget too, which kind of bummed me out a little bit. But anyway, what are you going to do? So at Parks, if you did play the free picks over there, the first order went 2, 4, and 3. Wasn't a big one, but the exacta for $2 paid $21.80. The trifecta paid for 50 cents, $11.65. And the free picks at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, we had them ranked 2, 3, 4, and it went 2, 4, 3. So those are the top 3 picks combined for a decent exacta and not a bad trifecta, considering it was a short field. So again, Guaranteed Tip Sheet, you can get the rest of the Parks picks for free, and they're about 5 minutes away from race number 2, and it looks like they're having some snow there, or maybe some fog or something. What early pick 4 paid? It's paid like $125 or something like that, Terry, right?
Yeah. A little bit more, I think, but not much.
I think it was like, I think it was 145. I've transposed the numbers there. But and the thing is, if the 2-horse would have won, it could have been over $1,000, but it didn't win, right? The favorite one. And I think it was my second pick, my first pick, my second pick, and my second pick, or something like that put it together. That's why I said it could have been a hot dog pick. Let's look at the last race for me, Terry. I like number 1, Sunset Provision. Terry had a bullet workout on January the 18th. Ran well in its all-weather debut, and a lot of times horses do translate very well from all-weather to turf. It did run a speed figure above par last time out, and so did number 7, Bahamian Captain. Similar race to Sunset Provision, except they're a little bit different races. Sunset Provision gets out and has better early pace numbers, and Bahamian Captain has a little bit better long pace numbers. In fact, it has the best late pace numbers by far, and it's getting first Lasix. I'm not as big a fan on first Lasix on closers as I am on speed horses, Terry, but nonetheless, I think it's an ad. And if the fractions are too fast, Bahamian Captain probably wins, and if they're not too fast, Sunset Provision probably gets the job done. Number 3, Brits Candyman was well bet in its debut, and I do expect some improvement in round number 2. And then finally, I'm closing it out with number 8, which is another long shot in here. It has the second best early pace numbers in the field. First time Lasix, so there's that matchup, Terry, of early speed and Lasix, which I love. It was well bet in its last race, Terry, and this time it's going off as a little bit of a long shot. And since the last time it's run, it had 2 workouts. So horse should be fit. And let's see, the 8-horse going into this race is 20-1 morning line odds. And I feel like it's going to run much, much better than that 20-1, Terry.
Sounds good.
All right, Terry, any final thoughts before we get up?
We need to show something. We need to show them our prime rib pick 4. So we haven't done that.
We put them both up. We'll run through all the picks again. So here are all of our picks for the day. Again, race 1 is in the books. Race 2 is coming up. So you see Terry's best bet's race 5. Mine is race 1. Race 5. Terry's best bet is race 4. Mine is in race 5. Race 5, my box is 1, 4, 6, 7. Let's hope that hits, Jimmy. I want to have that as well. That's your box it up. Hey, thank you. We appreciate you playing along, Jimmy. So mark that down. Race 5, Jimmy Littles, and we'll comment on that tomorrow again too. His box it up. If I can have it, Terry, can you write that down? I'll write it down. Race 5. My pen is not working. 1, 4, 6, and 7. That's a $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate you joining us. Hopefully, we do some good jobs with some winners today too. Make sure you tell your friends about us. Again, we'll be back tonight with Jockey Diego Herrera. Let me pull up the prime rib. So here is the hot dog pick for Terry. Yours is race 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's upcoming. Mine is in race 6, 7, 8, and 9. And you'll notice that the third pick on the races 8 and 9 differ. They were both my 4th picks, but I wanted to throw some shots in there in the back end just in case. Prime rib, Terry is starting. I'm starting mine in race number 2. Terry's starting his in race number 6. So I need that 1 or 6 to come home from a year, Terry, in this first race, this upcoming race. And then here's to box them up again one more time.
Hey, can you go back to the prime rib again?
To the prime rib again?
Yeah, because I think my prime rib's different than what I thought it was supposed to be.
So here's your prime rib.
1, 3, 4, 7. Then the 7th race should be 1, 3, 5, 6.
7th race, 1, 3, 5, 6.
And then the 8th should be 1, 2, 5.
All right. So hold on, Terry. Put that in again more. I don't know how I screwed it up, but go ahead.
Okay. It should be 1, 1,
hold
3,
on one second. Let me go over here real quick. Go ahead. So I'm going to go over to this sheet here in the background. So you go ahead. Race number 5, race number 6. It should be what?
It's just, that's the way you have it is fine in race 6. Race 7 should be 1, 3, 5, 6.
And then you have 6, and then you have 4 horses all the way through?
No, then race 8 should be 1, 2, 5.
All right, so here we go. Let me just pull this up here.
5, 1, 2 it should be. Shouldn't be no 6 there at all.
All right, so let me pull this up here. So here is Terry's right. You can see it right here. Let me pull this off here. Here's Terry's right here. Race 6, you see it here. 7, 1, 4, 3. I apologize for getting Terry's prime rib wrong. 7, 1, 4, 3. Race 7, 3, 5, 1, and 6. Race 8, 5, 1, and 2. And then race 9, 3, 7, and 1, and 9. I don't know how I got that wrong, Terry, but I apologize.
That's all right. No big deal. So
it happens sometimes, right?
yeah.
And the other thing is I had extra time today too, and I still screwed it up. So that's
well,
that's
you
horrible.
know, it happens for all of us. I mean, we're busy. But one thing I did want to bring up is, my pick of the day, which is on the website, is Gulfstream, fourth race, and it was number 5 Alcajera with number 8 Queen Macha with number 1 Estate. And yesterday, my pick of the day, in the second race at Parks, number 5 Malibu Anthem won the race, paid $8.80, $3.60, and $2.80. Number 7 Live Aid ran second, paid $3 and $2.80, and number 8 Posson Effect 2 ran third and paid $3.80. So I hit the ice cold trifecta for $38.55, and the exacta for $2 was $36.40. So it was a good day to start February.
Yes, indeed. It was a good day to start February. Again, today is the day all the twos come together. It's the second day of the second month of the year 2022. Hopefully that means that all of our picks, Terry, end up in the
winner's circle.
Yes, absolutely. Again, if you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Both the handles are the same. Horse Race Today. Terry and I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, let's see, 3 or 2. What do you mean, Maggie? In what way? 6th and the 9th race, guys. Jared's big on the 6th. What do you mean, Maggie, real quick before we get up and out of here? I don't know. So just go ahead and hit us up in the comment section. We'll see on YouTube, and I'll respond to that, Terry. As always, folks, we look forward to talking to you. Tom and I will be doing New Zealand on Friday. First time we've gone to New Zealand. Terry and I will be back tomorrow, same time, for Aqueduct. I think the weather should hold up out there. I look like it's going to be 38 and rainy, so you might want to slant your picks a little bit towards horses that can run on the off track. Till we get together again, Terry, hopefully you have a fantastic hump day, and all of your picks, Terry, end up in Jamie Little says go Rams. I bet the Rams already. Anyway, and all your picks, Terry, end up in the
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic, let's see, just the ones. Yep. Tomorrow we'll find the slop. Absolutely, for sure. It's going to rain. All your picks up into the winner's circle, folks. Have a great, 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 great hump day.